Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Coach Parker with CoachParker.org. How you guys doing today? Hey, last night I was talking to a guy on the phone, another coach, and he's from Florida, just bought some of my books, and we got to talking about just about everything. We hit special teams, and was kind of explaining some stuff, what I do on special teams with onside kicks. His league, they don't really do onside kicks that much. We try to average one recovery per game, and he was kind of amazed at that and told him what we were doing. And he was asking me if I had a video or a book on this. So I thought today I'd try to do a quick video about it, and hopefully you know who you are, that we were talking, and you see this video. So, hey, real quick before we jump into this, just some business here. Google really likes channels to have more subscriptions, and if you want to help support me and you like all my videos, please subscribe with the subscribe button down below. That really helps the channel and promotes it within YouTube. It doesn't cost you anything, just a couple of clicks. And then of course, if you want to get notified, hit the little bell button down there, and every time I upload a video, you'll get an email. And of course, you can like, share, comment on the videos too, and buy my playbooks. But something that's free and easy that helps me out, just subscribe down there. Thanks a lot. So let's get right in onto the onside kicking game. And this is kind of how I've looked at the onside kicking game for so long now. I've been a big proponent of onside kicks, especially at the youth level, 10 years and younger. Because it's just very effective at the Pee Wee football level. Many coaches will hide weak players on their special teams. They will not focus on special teams or not even practice special teams for maybe the first two games because they're trying to install their offense and get that working. And so they're really not focused as much on special teams. It's also very effective because they're hiding these weak players. And usually they'll put a big lineman on the front line that doesn't have hands and really haven't had a drill on, how to deal with the onside kick. And so just between they're slow and slow-footed and don't really know how to handle the ball, and they're just so big, and they haven't been taught what to do on special teams, you can usually get a recovery in a game, really the first 3 or 4 games, because they probably haven't made changes and seen what's going on there. So take advantage your first couple of games of the season with these onside kicks, especially against coaches who haven't been practicing their special teams, and I guarantee you'll make a couple of quick recoveries. So we try to average, and our goal within our whole team is really try to average one onside kick recovery per game. Some games we've gotten 2, some times we've gotten 0, but when we focus on it and we have a dedicated coach that deals with the kick game, and we've got a good kicker, we will average pretty much one onside kick a game. And how we do that is we give a lot of reward stickers for special teams. Coaches don't really reward players on special teams because they just think it's a secondary part of the game. But, like all the Hall of Fame coaches, there's so many now that talk about, it's offense, defense, and special teams. And special teams can win a lot of games for you guys, and this is definitely one of those areas. It's a huge advantage when you get a recovery. There's been games when we recovered 2 onside kicks in the first half, and the opposing team, I think we've had one game where they only touched the ball like 4 plays, and it was like the bottom of the second quarter. So that kills a team when that occurs. To get this to happen, though, you really got to practice. You really got to practice it, and it really comes down to your kicker. I got lucky. My son was a select soccer player. We've had a couple of select soccer players on my other teams, or just a soccer player, or somebody that just has a knack to kick. Find those as kickers, and we go through a whole tryout and do this whole thing. But it really comes down to practicing the kicks in pre-practice. You know, you'll usually have your quarterbacks and centers and backs get to practice early, 30 minutes, or at least we do, and you kind of go through this pre-practice routine with them. Have a dedicated coach that's doing that with your kicker for about 10 to 20 minutes every practice, and have them kicking in the areas, and we'll show you I'll show you kind of where we kick in a minute, and have them kick the different kicks and kicking to distance and to space and where you want the ball to go, and they'll get good at it. It's just like golf and putting and putting in your short game. You got to practice it because it's all touch related, and the kickers will get good at it and how to do that. And then of course, you know, full team, you should be practicing special teams 15 to 30 minutes weekly, if not more, if you can push that in. We try to do 30 minutes, usually 15 to 20 minutes during the week, and then before the game, we'll spend more time on special teams, kind of as our warm-up deal. But you can also put special teams, if you want to get more time, in as your warm-up time, because you're doing a lot of running back and forth downfield. So if you're just doing some dynamics for warm-ups, maybe kind of integrate special teams into that time frame and where they're running down the field in pursuit, and maybe you can warm up that way, and that's how to get some extra time there. But we like to have a dedicated coach that works with our kicker for pre-practices. And, you know, usually that's been me. I was a backup kicker for many years in high school and junior high, and so I'm not a great kicker, but I can put the ball pretty much where I want it, within 20 yards, and so that's what basically I start teaching them how to do that. And the other thing that you need to focus on is a lot of coaches will just put their minimum play players or the weakest players on special teams. That's not a key to success. That's been our key. We put our starters, especially on our kickoff onside kick team, in key positions to execute this kick formation. And it really works out for us. We hardly ever kick, just, you know, why we do these onside kicks and really focus on that is, in my experience, I hardly ever kick deep because I think it's too risky to give a ball to a tier 1, tier 2 tailback in open field that basically can shred a special teams unit that hasn't been trained or given enough time on how to run lanes. Usually half of them aren't that fast. And so you just usually give a great tailback an opportunity to score in open field. And why would I want to do that? And usually the result is, if we do kind of kick deep or we get a bad kick that goes long, is the ball usually gets back to between the 40s. So I'm usually getting the ball on onside kicks, or the offense gets the ball between the 40s anyway. So it's not like I'm really giving up too much yardage to the offense because that's just what I've seen. And so I'm usually not giving up anything, and I'm definitely not giving up a touchdown return. So that's why we don't long kick. But if you guys see something different, you can certainly go that route, but use this kind of technique to maybe implement onside kicks for your team if you still like to kick deep. But when you need an onside kick, this may work for you. But I highly recommend. We don't punt very much, and we onside kick almost all the time. So here's some onside kick details. I'm not going to go everything here, but this is some things that I've had down over the last several years of kind of the things that we do and some of the terminology. And I'll go over just a few of the things. So our kick team alignments for onside kicks, we call Reggie, which is regular, means we're kicking to our sidelines. Mickey Mouse means we're kicking the middle field. And Opie is opposite, and that means we're kicking to the opposing sideline. Length, as we usually talk about, we're kicking short or to second base, which is the second line, or easy, which is kind of the front line to the second line. So those are some things there. We like to kick to the triangle, and you'll see that in a minute. We'll kick to a specific player, and we'll just call his name out, and we'll kick to a cool box, which is the Mickey Mouse area. The height of our balls, we kind of have a grounder kind of feet thing. I like to keep it around there. We may do a sky ball, and that's kind of what over here in the mortar kick. But the type of kicks, that's the other thing. You know, like a golfer, you have several different clubs that you can use for pitching in your short game here. And this is kind of like the type of kicks that we use. You got a regular kick off a tee, which is just kind of a soft kick to maybe the second base line. You may have a mortar kick, which is a really, really high short kick. It's like a short field goal kick. You may have that jump ball where it rolls a couple times and it takes a huge bounce over the front line. I call that jump ball. You may have a pooch where we set the ball down sideways. There's no tee and you just kind of pooch it over. You may use a tee or not on a line drive and just kick real hard. I'm not going to go through this. And then you may have a squib kick, which you basically just use the tee and kind of squib it how you like. But it's and then, of course, there's a dealer's choice. And there's a bunch of others. If you guys look at this, if you want more, be talking about all this, just comment below about you'd like to know more about what's on this particular slide, and I'll get back and I'll try to do a video on that. Because I think this is my first or second special teams video here. So let's get into this. So here's my special teams lineup, and hopefully I've got everybody here lined up. But this is how we normally see. It's either 5 or 6 on the return line, guys, here. But this is kind of a normal setup that we normally see in our youth football league here. Let me get a pen, and I'll go in this blue color. So you got 5 guys here. And then what we've got in green before I talk about our alignments is we try to kick to the... So here's the triangle, the 2 triangles. And this is our sideline over here. Here's the box that we try to kick to. Rectangle box, whatever you want to call it there. But so that's the areas we try to kick to. And you can see we're trying to kick really right in here. The ball to go over to this sideline. And usually the side of this corner, I just don't have it over there. He's running down the sideline to... Actually, it's over here because we're kicking over here. And we'll show you that in a minute. So here's our alignment here. So I've got the kicker. And this is just a normal alignment, how they're lined up. And I'll show you exactly what happens when we call it. But I've got 4 guys over here. I've got 6 guys over here. And it really depends on your league. If your league says you have to be even, you can put one of the headhunters, which are these 2 guys over here, and then run him like that in motion or something. So that's how you can get away with that. But basically I have 4 and 4 set up. These 2 guys here are moving quite a bit in the thing. And so we'll talk about that next. So that's how that's set up. The players, you know, this is a corner. This is kind of a linebacker guy, slow guy, fast guy, fast guy, middle linebacker types. So that's what you've got there. If you want more information on the player types and what I'm looking for there, leave me a comment and I'll try to get more into this. So here's our onside kick Reggie, which means we're kicking toward our sideline. And I like to kick to our sideline because the other coach that's 40 yards away, 50 yards away, 35, I can't remember exactly, he can't see exactly what we're doing over here. So if you notice, first off, is the referee usually sets the ball on this X. We move it closer to the hash. So the kicker has actually moved the tee and the ball closer to the hash. So if your kicker can't make it to the hash, there's a couple of things on this. He's not a strong kicker, doesn't have a strong leg, you can move it this way so he's closer and can get there. If you have a really strong kicker, you can move him back over here and kick this way, and the ball will take longer to get over there, and it gives these guys more time to get down the field. There's 2 kind of strategies there to that. I've always pretty much moved my guy over. Another coach that I coach with, he liked to put his guy on the opposite side and have the ball take longer to get over there to the 10 yards. It's up to you guys, but I usually just move it over because I don't have these strong legs. I have guys that we focus on putting the ball where we want it. And as you notice, when we do a Reggie kick at our onside, we're kicking to the triangle here. And we're trying to get it over here. And it basically cuts out all their return team here. And, some people will jump us, and they will start putting their best backs here, and that's why we've got some other calls, so we can adjust that. But pretty much what's going on, this corner here, he's going down the line. Usually he picks up a lot because the ball, if you get really good at it, the guy can bounce the ball into his hands as he's running down the field. It's kind of crazy how it works, but that's how he works. Then I've got kind of an outside linebacker, fast guy here. He's going down kind of in a lane. These two guys here, the headhunter kind of guys, they're going directly for the ball, as is the kicker. The three guys that always go for the ball are the kicker, this Mike and Rover guy in this lineup. And I'm just using my defensive terms here. So the kicker, Mike and Rover, are always basically headhunting the football. So they're going direct at it. Unless sometimes I want my kicker to play more of a safety because I'm a little worried. But basically almost every time, the kicker, Mike and Rover, are always going for the ball. Everybody else, as you can see, are kind of going in lanes, and then they move over when they know the ball's coming. So that's kind of what this whole side of the line here is, playing the ball. It is a little risky, and you have to put some good kids over here on this backside wall. And what we're trying to do here is cut, and really they could probably come up. We're trying to cut the field in half with this wall here. And this guy is going to come up just about 3 to 5 yards over the ball. And really that's where they should be, is to make this wall right here so they can't come through. And so you got to be really careful on that. And this guy's really got to be paying attention, and you might want to put a goodbye here, because a lot of times, sometimes there's a weak point here for some reason. And I think that's because this guy's not coming down quick enough and covering. And that's why a lot of times, if I'm playing a really good, well-coached team, I'll have the kicker hang out in this area here. So as you can see, that's what's going on. So we're kicking. So onside kick is kicking to the triangle with either he can mortar kick it, he can do kind of a jump ball, or he can kind of do a line drive or a squib or whatever. And we're trying to put it into this triangle so it goes out of bounds right about here. And we don't want him kicking to these people. We want a kick to an area because we don't want him to touch it, really. We don't want him to catch it. We want the ball really kind of on the ground at their feet, so they're having to mess around down there. We can hit them or get the ball. So tell your kicker not to kick the ball directly to the guy so he can catch the ball. That's not exactly what we want. So that's Reggie. So Mickey Mouse, as if, like, a team has dropped two. They've dropped 2 over here, 2 and 1, which are really good backs. And so they've done that to you. So I'm sitting over here waiting. So I'll see that, and I'll call Mickey Mouse. So everybody will kind of adjust back out even. Mike and Rover will come over here by the kicker. And that really tells the kicker, if I haven't called anything else, he's going to do this little pooch kick where he turns the ball sideways, and he's just going to kick it enough, just enough, so it's going to end up right in that area there where that big red dot is. And no further. We don't want it back here, and we don't want it here or here. We want it in between these guys. Now, if there's a middle guy, he'll kick it somewhere not where they're at, so they have to kind of go sideways and bend down and get it, because that's what we want. Because so the main thing on this kick is the kicker is the main guy trying to get this ball. He's going to kick it and follow the ball. And if he kicks it right and you practices enough, he can kick it slow enough or fast enough that he can actually run with it and pick it up. And I've had some kickers be able to do this where they were able to run and basically pick that ball up before the other guy got it. Then you've got Mike and Rover here just coming down also at it. And then everybody else is basically running their lanes, the nose guards coming over kind of as a safety valve there in the middle. So that's Mickey Mouse, and it works really well, especially if they put 2 big goobs here in the middle that never handled the ball. Do that all day long. So the other thing is you got onside kick. You've got the Opie, which is opposite. So these guys have all come in here. They've dropped a bunch of people down. So you're going to call Opie. Sometimes I have everybody switch. Sometimes I just have Rover and Mike switch. It's up to you. I've moved the ball again. Maybe you can't because it's already set and Rover and Mike have just come over. But it's basically, oh, that triangle should be over here. I guess when I copied it, it came over. So that triangle's in the wrong place. It should be back over there. Sorry about that, guys. So here's the triangle over here on the Opie side. Once again, it's like Reggie, but we're going the opposite. It's coming down over here. He's trying to use a mortar kick or a jump ball kick or a line drive or just a squib to try to get the ball over in this particular area here. So practice those, and that'll really work out well for you because it's been very successful for us. Even when we've had not so great teams, we've still been able to get onside kicks because we've practiced it and focused it and paid attention to it. So, yep, there was the onside kicks there, and I know that was kind of fast. It's a lot of information. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please like the video below. And remember, to help me out, doesn't cost you anything. Please just subscribe. That would be a big deal. Make some comments if you saw some stuff that you want or what you guys do or whatever. Share the video maybe with your special teams coach or your head coach or vice versa, or players. You can definitely support me by heading over to CoachParker.org and buying my playbooks, the Power Wing Beast Offense, the 6'2 Multi-8 Youth Football Defense, and I've got a Wildcat Spread book over there in draft form. I'm trying to finish it here this month if possible, but you can get a discounted price on it while I'm in the middle of writing it. But once again, this was the Onside Kick video series. I hope you enjoyed it. This is Coach Parker with CoachParker.org. Remember to play for fun, and winning is funner. See you guys next time. Ciao. Have a great season. Talk to you later.